Alright guys, welcome back to Learnlyte. In this video, we're gonna discuss comments. So as a program gets bigger and bigger, we sometimes lose track of what the program is doing, and the program becomes very difficult to read. For this reason, it's a good idea to add notes or comments to your program, basically little bits of information that lets you and other programmers know exactly what's going on in your program. These are what comments are for in programming. To create a comment in Python, we simply use the number sign or the pound symbol. And comments are basically ignored by the Python interpreter. So the Python interpreter doesn't execute comments, it just ignores them completely. So comments are best used to document the parts of your code that are not so obvious to the readers, so that they know exactly what's going on. So let's take a look at how to make a comment in Python. So I'm gonna pull up a script right here. So this is a script from a very long time ago. It's basically from functions part 3 video, I believe. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. And we're basically gonna create a comment. So we're gonna come up here. We're gonna create a comment using the pound symbol. So you can see it takes this form. And like I said before, comments are used to basically document your code to let other programmers know what exactly is going on. So I'm going to write a comment for this function, and the comment I'm going to write is that this function converts from Celsius to Fahrenheit. I believe I spelled. Alright. So here we wrote a comment. This function converts from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So whenever a reader or a programmer is picking up our script, he can look and say, okay, there's a comment, and the comment says this function converts from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and automatically they'll know that calc Fahrenheit takes a Celsius value and converts it to Fahrenheit. So comments are basically a way of letting programmers and yourself know what exactly is going on. So let's say, for example, 10 years from now you return back to this code. Comments will basically help you to get your bearings so you know exactly what's going on. So let's create some more comments for the rest of these functions. And here we have a function, and it looks that, based on what I can tell, the function seems to be calculating both area and volume. So if you can tell what a function is doing basically by looking at it, then there's no need for a comment, since there are times when just by looking at a function you can tell what it does. But other times it's not so obvious. And in this case, it's kind of obvious what the function is doing, but I'm just going to write a comment so I can be more explicit about it. So let's write a comment, and we're going to say this function calculates both area and volume of a cuboid. Alright. Oops. So this function calculates both area and volume of a cuboid. Okay. Let's take a look at what this function is doing. Bank loan. Okay, so based on what we can see here, this function is calculating interest, or should I say it's calculating money owed. So you see, in this example, this is why it's helpful to write comments, because right now we're going back to this script and we're sitting down here trying to figure out what's going on. If we had a comment, then we could just simply read the comment that this function does this, and we wouldn't have to be spending so much time trying to figure out what's going on. So you can see how comments are very helpful. So let's continue and see if we can figure out what this function is doing. So we take a loan, we take interest, and it calculates the money owed. Okay, so now we know what this function is doing. This function tells us how much money is owed based on loan and interest amount. All right. So now if we were to come back to this script, let's say a year from now, we won't have to bother looking at the function, trying to dissect it, trying to figure out what it does, we simply read the comment. This function tells us how much money is owed based on the loan and interest amount, and boom, automatically we know what's going on and we know exactly how it is structured. So you see, comments are very helpful in that they add little bits of information so that you can know what's going on, and if someone else were to pick up this script and read it, they'll know exactly what's going on. So it's best to write very descriptive and helpful comments so that in the future someone or yourself reading it can basically understand what's going on. So let's do the rest and we'll call it a day for the video. So times table, what's going on here? While count is less than 13. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. So this function gives us the 13 times table for any number we pass into a function. I believe that's what the function does based on what we did here. While count is less than 13, we print times. Yeah, that's what the function is doing. And this function, for loop, what's it doing? I think this function is basically printing out the value of I, so it basically counts up to any number x. I believe that's what it's doing. But just to be sure, let me run this. Yeah. And remember, as I said before, comments are not processed by the Python interpreter. Alright, so let's run this for loop and see what it actually does. This for loop function takes a value of x. Let's give it 6. And it says 1 execution, 2. Okay. So I know what the function does now. This function prints how many times the for loop has been executed. Okay. Now for loop times table. Okay, well this function is kind of descriptive, so I already know what this function is doing. This function gives the 12 times table for any number passed into it. Alright. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the function does. For I in range 12, yeah, that's what the function does. So what does hope do? For I in range, print I. So we have it starting at 5, goes to 20, and counts up by 2 every time. So I have a pretty good idea what hope does. Just to be sure, let me run it and find out. Hope. Pass a value of, let's say, 12. Oh, hope doesn't take any arguments. My bad. Let's see. Alright, so basically it counts up from 5 to 20 and counts up by 2. Yeah, I figured as much. I don't know why I passed 12 into it at first. Yeah. This function counts up from 5 to 20, counting by 2. Alright. And then the function tests word. If word is greater than bananas, this is something else, this is something else. Okay. Basically tests if a word given comes before or after the word bananas. It's like a alpha, it's like organizing, it basically tests the alpha numeric value of the word. So like for example, if we were to pass apples into it, then it would print this. If we were to pass cat into it, it would print this is something else. So how do we describe this function? It's hard to describe this function because it's a proof of concept function. It's not really doing anything useful. Just right. This is a proof of concept function, not doing anything useful. I don't know how else to really describe it. And test underscore 2, if word equal banana, print bananas. We're just testing if the word equal banana or not. This function is testing if a word passed into it is equal to banana or not. Alright, so here we've wrote some comments to basically document what each function is doing, and we can add some more space in between these functions so it doesn't look as cluttered, but you get the idea of comments. They're basically ways for us to add little bits of information to our code so that others and ourselves know exactly what's going on should we return back to this script in the future. And basically that's it for this video. Also remember that comments are not processed by the Python interpreter. They're completely ignored, so it basically doesn't affect your code in any way. And just one tip for using comments: if the function is self-explanatory, then there's no need to write a comment, but if it's not so obvious, then it's best to write a comment. So for example, this function is pretty obvious. It's calculating Fahrenheit from Celsius, so there would be no need to write a comment for that. This one is also kind of obvious. It's printing the area and volume. This one, on the other hand, no, bank loan isn't so obvious, so this might benefit from using a comment. And these others, I wouldn't necessarily write comment for them, but you can go ahead and do it if you want to. And that's it for this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I post new content or new videos. And once again, thank you for watching.